Last weekend, I went to CineGear Atlanta 2024 at Trilith Studios, and it was my first time there. But needless to say, it was incredible. So we're at CineGear Expo 2024 here in Atlanta, and we're about to have some fun. So what is CineGear? Like I said, it was nothing short of incredible because it gave me the ability to connect with other filmmakers and cinematographers in Atlanta and all over the world. It was just an inspiring place to be at. Not to even mention the brands and the reps of those brands that were there showing off their newest products that they will be releasing over the next year. The overall focus of this expo was the future of virtual production and how it's going to impact the filmmaking world over the next few years. I attended a few seminars where they detailed a couple of these things, one of which I got to go to Lux Stage at Trilith Stage, I think 22, but it was massive. There were a few major lens manufacturers at the expo. Viltrox. This is the biggest lens I think I've ever seen. It's longer than my arm. Sigma, and many others, but two of my favorite that stood out to me had to have been Zeiss and Nisi. Zeiss, being the older of the two, had a new addition to their flagship lenses, the Supreme Primes. They had a 15mm Supreme Prime on display attached to an ARRI Alexa, which was a beautiful and sharp lens with very little distortion. But I also got to try out their E-mount lenses, which are their budget option. For some, it's budget, but for others like myself, not so much.
Absolutely. So the Nano Primes are an E-mount solution based on the Supreme Prime look. So everybody talks about the Zeiss look, and that's what the Master Primes are, and some of the photo lenses. These are a little bit more gentle, a little bit more character-driven, and these align with our larger Supreme Prime lenses in that they're all for the Sony universe.
While showing off these amazing lenses, they also had right behind their booth a virtual production station just showing how Unreal Engine is used in virtual productions on a smaller scale, and the tracking information on top of the camera is sent to Unreal Engine, which is a computer-based software, and then that is displayed up on the LED wall, depending on how the camera moves, just to create a realistic background. So you don't have to use a green screen or blue screen. You could just actually be in that environment. Nisi, on the other hand, being the newcomer when it comes to being a lens manufacturer, had their flagship Nisi Athenas on display. I got to try out the Athenas on my A7S III.
So that's a rectilinear design, so your edges are gonna stay straight with that.
Cool. So comparable to the Zeiss, the Nano.
This has less breathing. So the Zeiss is gonna breathe. You'll be surprised. Go ahead and try it out. You'll see what I mean there. You'll be surprised on the breathing there. Also less chromatic aberration here. So the Zeiss has been doing great lenses for a long time, but this is better. I've been a Zeiss guy my whole career as a shooter, and wow, this lens impresses me. Additionally, these lenses take drop-in filters, and the Nano Primes do not. That's the optical flat. Will come with all of the lenses. The PL version also takes, which I said over here. The PL version also has a rear filter system, but it's a screw-in filter.
Gotcha.
And then we have a selection of filters over here at the other table as well.
I might need to go with an 85 so I can really see.
Oh yeah, sure. So the focus plane isn't going to be even because we pulled that optical flat filter out, but you should still be able to achieve focus in the center, although it won't match the marks that are on the side.
The DZO Vespas are usually my main runner.
Oh, got it. So these are frankly superior to those. They are going to have, again, with the filter out, it's not quite a fair comparison, but they are going to be perfectly sharp from edge to edge and have consistency from across all the focal lengths. So the DZO Vespids, you may have noticed as you switch focal lengths, the your color contrast does change a little bit between focal lengths. So they're not made consistently. They're also not serviceable. If you run into an issue with that lens, or heaven forbid it gets dropped or something like that were to happen, they're not really meant to be to be serviced like that. So you break it, you just kind of got to replace it if it's not a warranty thing. These lenses are fully serviceable.
Hollyland had their transmission systems on display as well. They had a wide variety of them on display depending on where you are in your filmmaking career.
So this is our Pyro line, like these three products here. This is gonna be our newest line. We've got a Pyro H, Pyro S, and Pyro 7. So the main key features here with the Pyro H is gonna be HDMI only. Pyro S is gonna be HDMI and SDI. And Pyro 7 is gonna have the HDMI SDI but with a built-in monitor. But it's also a built-in transceiver. So if I want this to be a transmitter, I can hit transmitter. If I want it to be a receiver, I hit receiver. So this can be on-camera transmitting, or it can be a director's monitor. With these, you're going to get 1,300 feet of range, and your latency is about 50 milliseconds, so 0.05 seconds. Moving down to our Mars, that's going to be like more of our more affordable option for people that are just kind of getting into video transmission. It's going to be 1080 only, and then you're going to get 450 feet, whereas over here at 1,300 feet. So there's definitely a difference there. You have HDMI and SDI, but it's you've got your cold shoe mount kind of built into it here. Oh no! That way you don't have the problem. Yeah. So I mean, you've got different options. This is our Cosmo. It's gonna be 1,000-foot range, 1080p is the max, and then Syscom 421 is gonna be 1,800 feet, 1080p max.
For your bigger cameras.
Yeah. So you got transmitters here, and you can get up to 4 transmitters on a single receiver. So you set this up back at Video Village or back at your switcher, you just have your outs go out to your switcher.
It was just amazing to see the levels that they took with their products, and the just overall, they have something for each market. I also got to speak with a different rep about their variety of communication systems as well. They also provide a different variety dependent upon your use case, whether you're working in a church or whether you're working on a football field, or if you're working like me on a film set and you need something to communicate to the director or communicate to your key grip or something like that. It's a great system to use. I've used it before and did not fail at all. The distance overall was an issue with me, but he did give me a solution to that issue.
Stages, right? This is our roaming. So what that'll do is up to 1,300 feet, and then you can run a Cat 5 between it, and then as a person comes from this studio into the next one, it'll just auto switch to that one. So you have about 3,000 feet of range roughly with everything, and it's 20 headsets per, so about 40 headsets between the two.
Driving Plates was an interesting company that gave me some insight on how the plates are filmed for driving scenes in films.
So it's one camera every 45 degrees on the horizontal, and then this is a 250-degree fisheye, so it basically captures a big bubble around the car, which gets everything. And then we're able to stitch this all together and create environments that could be used either with an LED workflow or a VFX workflow.
Okay.
And then put your actors in a location that they're not actually at, in a controlled environment on a stage, so you don't have to worry about weather and noises and any other thing that goes along with having a process trailer.
On films, they don't allow the actor to drive. They'll either have a process trailer, which they'll sit the car on a trailer that sits low enough to the ground that allows it to fake like the actors actually driving, but allows them to act, because acting while driving is dangerous and don't do it. Or they'll use a different way, which they'll either be in a room with a volume wall, which that was the focus of this whole thing, virtual production. They'll even be in there with LED walls all the way around, which that's well over and out of my budget currently. Or they'll do what I'll usually do, which is to have green screen on the side that you're shooting and then grab the plates later on by either going out and driving and filming them, or going through a company like Driving Plates, who has a library of different driving plates. Prograde was another amazing part of this expo that surprisingly excited me. And not too many people get excited to talk about memory, but I guess when you're like me and you had a brand new SSD just automatically go blank on you from SanDisk, and you've also had all of your footage stolen from you within a matter of a few months, all of this happened. So if you've had that happen to you, it becomes a pretty important thing. So I got the chance to learn about their amazing software, which I didn't know was already on their SD cards. But there's a little R on the SSD cards. That's their software that's implanted into them, which allows you to sanitize the memory cards and return them back to factory setting. And I know what some of you may be saying, I return it back to factory setting when I hit format. But no, you don't. It just allows the card to say, okay, I'm going to rewrite that file to make it look like that it's not on the card anymore, that the card is empty. But the information is still on the card, and it's over time slows the card down. And they also gave me information on their new SSD that they're coming out with within the next year. But I'm gonna let Mark kind of introduce that and talk about that a little bit.
I'm Mark Lewis from Prograde Digital. And
Yes.
We just announced this SSD last week. We've been working on this product for a while in order to get to the speeds that we wanted to get to. So the difference with this SSD and any others in the market is most SSDs will start to transfer and then they drop off, either for thermal throttling or for cache throttling. This SSD will maintain the speed throughout the entire 8 terabytes of volume of the drive. It's got dual heat sinks, and it's got the fins in the side to manage the heat, so you won't thermal throttle and you're not going to cache throttle either. We've designed this with a power sensing LED on the back, so it's bus driven, so you don't need to plug it in. But the light sensing LED will tell you whether you're getting 15 watts of power out of your port or not. We've also designed it just like our readers. Our readers have a magnetic back with a plate on it, so that you can attach it and have a compact little workstation. This has a magnetic back on it as well. And in the carrying case that we provide, there's a metal plate in here, so that you attach it to your work surface and it won't slide around your work surface. It comes with a USB 4.0 and Thunderbolt 4 cable in this rugged carry case.
The Aputure booth was also another killer booth. It was my favorite booth. I immediately went over there as soon as I got there. It was the one I was most excited about, and I could have spent all day there. In fact, I did spend all day there to the point where I almost didn't get to go to any other booth and explore, but I ended up forcing myself to leave after day 2. But they had a few lights on display, like their 1200X, which just newly released, their 600C Pro 2, which also just newly released, and also their Aputure Infinimats, the 1500C, as well as the XT26, which they're both like incredibly huge lights, which I won't be getting anytime soon. I can tell you that. I'll just rent those for a while, but they are amazing.
The Infinimat system. It's available in 1x2, 1x4, 2x4. There's a 4x4. I didn't have room for everything here.
Yeah.
And then 8x8. And then the biggest thing is you can take 4 8x8s, put them together and get a 20x20. Or giant system. The system is the mat, but then it attaches to our inflatable airbags. And these airbags have the built-in diffusion, and so it sets up very quickly. This provides structure to it, so like you don't need a whole complex rigging and stuff for it. So like you can see, the grid isn't, a lot of times you set up a grid, you have to stretch and whatever so it doesn't slump and stuff. It's all just holding it straight. So it's a very quick and efficient system to use. The whole system is IP65, so you can be out in the rain, use and abuse it. It is also, because this is IP65, that means that this is all sealed.
Yeah.
And so what we did is that there are metal panels behind each section. Each section is actually a separate pixel. You can address it separately, so I can color this differently than that if I want to do an effect. But because this is a single panel, it has a metal plate behind it, and that acts like a radiator, dissipates heat. But it also gives this structure, right? So it's not this thing that's flopping all around. I have to like put things to it. So I could just hang this from the wall like this if I wanted to. It also means it packs up real quick. And because it has the metal plate, it actually is quite resilient. It's really strong. If I did that on other systems, I would have just broken it. That would have destroyed it. So this whole system it's really thought out for a real production environment. You know.
So is this like the Aputure version of the Amaran F-22C?
This is an expansion of that. So you can see even like we have this little portable frame for the 1x4. That's similar to the frame that is on the Amarans, but it's again beefier, bigger, just designed for field use.
Okay. I love this, and I like how soft the lighting is for real. Because I know with the Amaran, I kind of struggle with.
Yeah,
and the soft.
They're only so big, and you can only get so much diffusion on it. By having the inflatable, it's naturally very soft,
and it's easier to set up too.
Yeah, in fact, it comes with this little air pump, and it's like USB rechargeable thing. This will fill this guy in under a minute, and this will on the smaller sizes, this size and below. This will live on your mat if you want, right? So you literally fold it up in the bag like that with it on there, and then you unfold it, you fill it with air in under a minute, and then at the end of the day, the nozzle pops onto the back, and you suck the air out under a minute. You fold it back up, and you're good. So it's a really quick, efficient system.
I love it. Speaking of the Storm 1200X, it is Aputure's first light to feature the Blair light engine, which delivers the most accurate match to natural daylight in tungsten. It also features the largest CCT adjustment to full green control and extremely low in dimming, which it goes down to 0.1%, which was a lot of people's complaint about the 1200D, that it didn't go low enough, so they had to kind of swap out an entire fixture lower, like the 600 watt fixture, just to get the output that they were looking for if it was too bright on set. And it also features the new ProLock Bowens mount, so that you can securely attach any of your modifiers that you have. It's kind of built like a PL mount lens, where it has the locking mechanism.
It ain't moving. Dog, melodic in the Aputure video? Uh-oh.
One of the special things that it also features that no one's really talking about is the fact that it has mounting points for a skid plate on the bottom of the 1200X.
The base of this protected.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So I can put it on a shelf or pick it up.
Yeah.
So it'll be kind of a similar version of this, but smaller, made for this light.
But that just allows for you to be able to put the light on a flat surface, the actual unit on a flat surface, without damaging the light itself. Getting to meet the people from Aputure, a company that has taught me through their YouTube channel how to light and how to develop my skills when it comes to on-set lighting, all the way back to when they had Indie Mogul. Which was a YouTube channel prior to even Aputure being a thing, but being surrounded by all of their innovative products like the InfiniMax system and gaining a deeper understanding of their products was inspiring, to say the least. I even got the opportunity to be in an Aputure video.
What's up, man? What's up? I'm Q, man. Nice to meet you. Seth? Seth? Yeah. All right, nice to meet you, bro. You trying to be on one of these Aputure videos? Almost them. Let's get it. Cool.
Hopefully it makes it. I made the cut if my take wasn't too bad. One company that interested me the most that I did not know about at all was a company called Instagrid. They're going to likely change the game when it comes to indie filmmakers and portable power on set. Usually when you're on set, you have the gas power generator. I'm talking to my old heads here. And they are pretty efficient when it comes to having power at your disposal whenever you need it. But they're loud and they put out a lot of fumes. I've heard from a lot of audio guys that how much they hate the gas powered generators. But that's when companies like Anchor and EcoFlow stepped in to kind of try to make a more efficient and less noisy power solution for on-set use and portable use. And they've created some pretty powerful devices, but they're really heavy and really hard to lug around. So that's where Instagrid comes in at. This company has not yet launched in the US, but it's all over Europe and is about to make its stamp as the best portable power solution for indie filmmakers. I really enjoyed this expo and it was incredible, but I can't help but to think about companies like DJI, Condor Blue, Sony that I saw was at the New York and LA Expo, but did not show up or make an appearance at the CineGear Atlanta Expo. I was excited to see companies like Aputure and Prograde, among others there, just to meet the people behind these brands that create these products. And it made me want to buy more of their products and remain loyal to their brand. The expo is a chance for creators like myself to come together and view some of these products and get hands-on some of these products that they likely wouldn't get to test out if it wasn't for these expos. So please, I want to see these other big brands at CineGear Atlanta 2025 so we can make it a better experience for all of the filmmakers in the community and for even more for the people that buy your products. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed any part of it, if it was informational to you in any way, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And overall, keep creating. Peace.